The following presentation is brought to you through the paid memberships of NotaryStars.com, the only notary training platform and resource library with over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun. Together with our sister website, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, which focuses on notaries who are pioneering in remote online notary, we strive to give you a safe place to ask questions, get answers, gain confidence in your notary career, and achieve success without overfabricating the truths about our industry. If you would like to support us, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a colleague, or becoming a member and trusting us to help you achieve the level of success you desire.
Well, hey there, notaries and signing agents from across the United States. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to MGM, also known as Monday General Mentorship, brought to you by Notary Stars every Monday, except holidays, at 5 p.m. Pacific Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I started to say Eastern Standard Time, but I guess right now it's just ET. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2024. If you're new here or not just quite sure who we are, Notary Stars is a notary and signing agent training platform. We train on just about everything under the sun. Notary basics, almost every type of loan file out there for our notary signing agents. I think we're up to 29 or 39 different types of loan files right now and adding more every week. We have the best market your business training and, of course, remote online notary training. For everything else that we don't personally train on, we try to bring in the best and the brightest trainers for the topics that you're interested in. My name is Beth Hathoot, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. William Bumfrey, aka Mr. Bill, and Ronnie Mickle. We are all here to help you excel in your notary business. Tonight's session is the last one that we're going to be holding for the rest of this month as we're going on our mid-year break. During this time, we don't hold any public training sessions or classes as it allows us to focus on planning for the remainder of the year. But our members still have access to phone support, hotline, and email. We're still here for you. We're still working behind the scenes. We're just not doing anything live during the last 2 weeks of the month. We do have some great questions that are submitted to us over a jot form that we'll be answering live for everyone tonight. And as a reminder, over the next 2 weeks, when you submit a question over our jot form, we will endeavor to provide an answer for you right away, so you don't have to wait until MGM resumes in June. To help make this session really successful, please do a couple of tiny little things. Fire up those cameras, guys. We want to see your beautiful faces. We want to be able to gauge if you have questions or don't understand something that we are talking about. We can see that in your faces on those tiles. So if you can turn on your cameras, please do so. It helps us help you. Also, if you have any questions or if you want to share something with your fellow notaries, no sweat. Just raise your virtual hand using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. Or if you prefer, you can use keyboard combinations. Try Alt plus Y if you're on a PC or Option plus Y if you're on a Mac. One final thing before we get started, keep your eye on the chat as the evening progresses, or in the description if you're watching this as a replay for links to other important information that we're going to be posting throughout the evening. So Mr. Mickle, are you ready to kick off our meeting?
Yes, and I have a couple of things to say. So first of all, I was supposed to be in Jacksonville this coming weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it, but that bad news doesn't come with good news. As you guys know, outside of visiting my family on the East Coast, I've also been visiting clients and prospecting with new clients. And we landed a major account. Huge for Unlimited Ink Notary. We will be starting out with a client that is located in California. It's a brand new client for us. They are huge. It's going to pump at least 100 orders into the California area and permeating out for the first part. And then they have 18 states that they're going to be bringing on over the next little bit. When we land an account like this, we always start with a single state, make sure we get our bearings, make sure we learn their files. 100 orders a month is really not that much for Unlimited Ink. It is a lot for the notaries in the areas that will be working with us. So unfortunately, with the influx of business and all of the things going on behind the scenes, not going to be able to do the Jacksonville on top of going to Atlanta and taking these meetings. So need to say we are blessed. As you guys have heard, we 2 months ago we had our highest record ever, and now we had our second highest record last month, and it looks like we're going to hit a third one this month. So that's just amazing. And of course, you know, as Notary Stars, you get preference on Unlimited Ink's files when they come out in your area. Next thing that I want to announce, and I guess it's okay because it's been sent to me twice now. I never did this on camera before, but I'm not going to stop the feed because while it was happening, I would always stop the feed and say, hey, would you mind doing a nomination? And now I have to say we did it. So I always said that this way when I cut the feed. Unfortunately, the way that they do things at the NNA is they say that a person needs to be nominated for the influencer of the year. You guys, along with Unlimited Ink's clients, got me nominated, but that will not go in vain. Okay. That if I wind up becoming the influencer of the year, which Bill Soroka and Tiffany Geist are both nominated. I just found out like 10 minutes ago, or maybe 20 minutes before this. So if my hair looks a little poofy, it's because I had to like get ready. I was running around excited about it. But the excitement's not for me. The excitement is because for the last 5 years, you guys see it now. We're celebrating 5 years of being Notary Stars. We've got 10,000 notaries through the platform, or just close to 10,000. My goal is to touch every notary's business in a positive way that is not fabricating or over fabricating how this industry actually works. There are always going to be people who just want to come in and make six figures and that's thing, but they won't last. Promise you that. You can make six figures and last, but if you're going to really last, you got to listen up. You got to learn, and you got to keep your ear to the ground for what other companies are doing, signing services, and you got to adapt it to your business and other notaries. Okay. And I've taught that from day one. So I want to say thank you for helping us get nominated and get that logo up there. It will not go in vain because I know the people who tune into us are the people who are serious about their jobs. It's not people who are fly-by-nights. It doesn't matter if you are a grandmother who just wants to make enough to help her grandkids out, or a grandfather who just wants to make a little extra from retirement, or someone who just wants to start a business and be successful as the guy on the screen talking to you right now. That's what Notary Stars is about. It's about taking your career and making it what works for you. I've always said this, and then I'm going to digress. I have never met a notary who knows what they're doing who is unemployed. And that's what we're trying to do here at Notary Stars, is to make sure you guys know what you're doing so that you're never unemployed. You will be sought after with the education. So for those of you, even if you're not members, but you tune in every week, let me tell you something. You're the kind of people I like to surround myself with. Somebody who's keeping their ear to the ground to learn anything that they can, even if they're not paying for it, because not everybody can afford it. And I understand that. Some people are just starting out. Some people are already set up and they just want to stay abreast on what's going on. That's okay. This is a home, and I love these Monday meetings. It's a homecoming for everyone. Now let's get to the questions for the night, because I know we have some great questions that were written in, Miss Beth. And I think you're on mute there. Let me see if I can.
There we go. We actually have a hand raised in the gallery. It's Miss Carol. Do we want to get Miss Carol's hand taken care of here?
Yeah, Miss Carol, what can we help you with today?
Okay, I have two technical questions. The first one is, where are the cheat sheets on Notary Stars. I've gone through everything and I can't find them. Am I wacky or?
Are you asking about technical cheat sheets or cheat sheets for
Signings?
okay.
You know, like that one page that's got all that stuff in there and the signers, well, what do I put here? What do I put here? And you have a sheet that you can show them so that I'm not giving them legal advice.
Miss
Oh, yeah,
Beth knows.
she's talking about the downloadable resources.
Yes, yes.
Carol, if you want to send me an email just to Beth at Notary Stars, I will send you the link so you can find it directly.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Because
for-
I can't find them, you know? And the other simple question I have is when I go on the Notary Stars mobile app, all I get is this. Can you see this?
No, because you
Where-
have your green screen on.
Oh, well, look what happened. See, now isn't that interesting? I have the list of everything, you know, about Notary Stars, you know, your Join Us Monday, New Success. How do I get to the guts of it, is it hit those three dots or what?
So the app does not function as a training mechanism. It is a quick reference to get to the training. Truly, you need to
Okay.
be on the website. A lot of the things are for quick reference. And, you know, Miss Carol, I hope you take this with all of the respect. It's really, truly for someone who's a little bit more tech savvy. If
I
was
am
there
not.
with you, I would show you a little bit more. But I know
Right.
in fact we have some technical difficulties, and maybe one day you and I can meet up in Arizona and I can show you
Oh,
around.
I almost tried to do that, but you were in Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I live there, so I'm headed back in 2 weeks. So
Good.
just give me at least a little bit of notice.
Oh, I sure would.
Each tab, and you know, I've got a green screen on as too, so nobody can really see
Yeah.
it. Each tab represents, you know, a resource or something that you might be getting.
Right.
You would need to click on those. But I have to tell you, you're probably going to be best navigating through the actual website.
Yeah, I do through my computer. Okay. I appreciate it. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. And come see me, and I'll walk you through the app.
I will. My granddaughter graduated from GCU, and I was down there, and I thought I would come and have a cocktail with you or something, but alas, you were in Georgia. Maybe next time.
Well, I come up your way too. I have to get out of the heat.
I'm in the heat. Don't even think about no heat here.
Okay, well, we can't be that far apart then. So
no. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate it. Okay.
All righty, Mr. Meckel, we have another hand raised in the gallery. It's from Karma Senji. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but if you want to unmute and let us know what's on your mind.
Yeah, so can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I'm doing, multiple signings per day. And I have I'm saving all these files to my computer, including all my scans that I'm doing for scan backs. What I want to know is, should I be keeping all of these, scans and all my downloads of all my documents? And if so, how long should I be keeping them for? Like forever? Should I be deleting them? What should I be doing with these?
You're going to get two answers here, and Miss Beth, go ahead and.
I'm going to tell you to keep them until you get paid.
Right. Okay.
Because there's always something that could kind of creep up that might end up being a reason to dock your pay, and you want to have that evidence still in your at your fingertips. So as soon as you get paid and you're receiving those checks and you're clearing those invoices on your accounting software, you're also deleting all traces of information on that file. But keep them up to that point. I know what Ronnie's going to say.
No, no,
But-
no. I promise you, this is a new one. I have a new one for you guys.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I will learn something new on that topic then today too. But for just as long as you need to have them, keep them and then shred them, get rid of them. And as you need to have some type of software that will securely shred, and I'm using that word digitally shred, that information that's on your computer. Because remember, we know when we throw something in our trash on our PCs and our Macs, it's not really gone. It can still be retrieved. So you want to be able to securely wipe it off your hard drive.
Right. Is there anything that you would recommend for a Mac to securely shred it?
No, Ronnie, can you? I'm a PC user. I don't have any Mac experience, so I can't relate to that at all.
We don't have, well, I don't even for PC, for getting rid of it off of your computer. They say if you delete something, it never really is 100% gone. So, you know, my best friend who worked for IBM, he taught me this years ago. When you get ready to get rid of your computer, if you're doing something, you know, with credit cards or any of those things or people's financial information, the way that you get rid of the computer is you never sell it. You beat it to death with a hammer and, you know, put it through the dishwasher and all of those things. And, you know, my last assistant thought I was crazy when I had to do that with one of my computers that wouldn't even turn on. But, you know, apparently there are people out there who can get information. We want to kind of avoid that. But what I wanted to say to the testament of what now signing order and SnapDocs, if you're scanning back to signing order, SnapDocs, ThankServe, any of those portals that allow a upload, it does lock after the notary releases the order and says scan backs upload complete, or I've done my file, or that it flips to the next day. If you run into an issue, they have the original file you uploaded. And so you can insist as a notary, I'll be happy to help you, but you need to unlock the order for me so I can see my original scans. And I used to keep my scans for longer because of that. Now I know that company can move your order to that current day and unlock it for you by reassigning it without messing up anything. And you should be insisted upon that, because one of the reasons that I insist upon having scans is I've had so many companies come back and say you have an error and it was never even in the original package. So I need to see the original order before I can assist you or see the documents. And I've stood up against the likes of Amrock, which you all know, we bite our tongue for them. I always tell them I need to see my error. Sometimes they've sent it to me and it's been an error, and I say, absolutely, I'll help you. If it's not an error, I'm able to see that file. So I've actually shifted to saying, I need to see my original work and I need to see the original file that was sent to me. Never take word that this was in the file and you just didn't sign it if you don't know for a fact. So you need to see that original upload, which is timestamped on all of those platforms. So if they insist that you made an error or didn't get something signed and you're not keeping those until you get paid, like Beth said, then you need to insist, I need to see the original order. And that goes from my company as well. You won't get any pushback because I know you need to see it. And any good company out there should understand that.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
And Mr. Karmer, if you do find a way to digitally shred, please let us know. We would love to share that with you know, other notaries, because that's a new question. I know it's a term and we've talked about it before, but it's actually a new question. So if you find something, let us know. And Beth, we can put that on something to follow up for us as well.
Well, I know if you're on PC, you can use AVG or WebRoot. They both have Department of Defense level digital shredding that guarantees permanent deletion of that particular file from your system. I don't know if either of those two are Mac compatible, but you can do a quick search on it and it'll tell you. So that'd be AVG or WebRoot. I kind of like AVG because it attaches to my, it's in my file tree, and it also attaches itself as a resident to my trash can. So I can always choose to empty my trash can by digital shredding as well. So, alrighty, Mr. Ronnie, are you ready to start taking a look at some of these questions from our job form submissions?
Absolutely. And I want to remind you guys that you can participate if you have information or want to comment or have something going along as we're going along, or anything we've done now up till now, or any questions that we do. Make sure you virtually raise your hand to get into queue, because this meeting only has about 40 minutes left in it, if that. So
Wow. Okay.
time goes fast when you're having fun.
Well, this first question on WebRoot here, or WebRoot, I'm watching Matt chat as well. On our JOT form, Mr. Ronnie, it's kind of an old one. It's been here, I think, for a couple of weeks. So we probably ought to get Veronica's question answered. It says, I have to renew my E&O insurance soon. Do you think having a higher amount gives you more opportunities for signers? And if yes, or for signees, if yes, how much should I have?
So this is a really great question, okay? I would recommend that any notary that's working with signing services have a minimum of 100,000. Now, you always want to go by what your any signing service out there that may be offering more signings in your area. If they want 500,000, get 500,000. If you are going to go direct, you have to have 1 million. If you walk in with 25,000 or 100,000, you're just going to be laughed out the door. They're going to be like, "That's cute. Come back when you actually know what a signing service, signing agency has." A signing service has to have the same amount of coverage as a notary signing agent. That means even at unlimited ink level, I'm going to pay the same amount that you will for my $1 million insurance policy, even if I'm using it per occurrence with every notary that works underneath me. Okay. So if you want to go in the door and get direct business, you are going to have $1 million policy. If you don't want to go direct, and believe it or not, there are notaries who don't. They just want to work with signing services. They're just doing this part-time. Start at 100,000. And if you see somebody needs you to have a higher amount, then go up to 500,000. Somewhere between that range, but 25,000, you're definitely not going to get as many jobs. I always say it like this. When's the last time you saw a house sold for $25,000? So you want to get it up to an amount that could mean something in this day and age.
Yeah, for sure. There are some people who believe a higher E&O amount paints a bigger target on your back. But I'm telling you, if you're going to get sued, they're not going to know how much your E&O is when they start to sue you. But if you're going to get sued, you're going to wish you had that higher amount. It just goes thickly. Like Mr. Mickle said, how many times have you seen a house sell for 25 grand? Not much. Maybe a plot of dirt somewhere, but yeah. Mr. Mickle, we have another hand up in the gallery. This is Marshall White. Mr. Marshall, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Hello, Ronnie, Beth, everybody else. I had a vehicle title transfer over the weekend. It was from Pennsylvania. I'm in Florida. The buyer was not present. The seller was. So I dated it, signed it, and stamped it. And I left everything else blank. And I know each state has their own version of titles. So did I do it right, wrong, or what are your suggestions?
Good old PennDOT. Yeah. What I'm going to say is a general statement, and maybe there's somebody from Pennsylvania who's in the audience now who can chime in and let us know. But typically, anytime you're doing a vehicle title transfer and the title has to be notarized, you only ever have to notarize the signature of the seller. Some states do require the buyer to be present as well, but again, in your notarial certificate, it's only your seller's name that's in that certificate. So I would say off the top of my head, you probably did fine. But if there's anybody here from Pennsylvania that can give us any detailed information, chime in the chat.
I did see Alicia and Diane are both from Pennsylvania. So if you guys have any, I just typed in PA, and those are the only two people that have renamed with PA after their name. Thank you for naming your states. If you guys have any advice on that, we'd love to hear it. One thing that I want to chime in, Beth, is that this actually happened to me. So when you notarize the seller signature, if the document requires the mileage to be written in, encourage your signer to put in the mileage at the time that they have it notarized. Because I had somebody who was selling a car the next morning, she didn't write it in. And the guy drove it into a building and then abandoned the car and never recorded a title. So guess who was at fault?
Hmm.
Her.
Yeah.
So because if she wanted to know what I could do to help her, and I said, well, I told you to write the mileage on it. But if you don't write the mileage on it and he doesn't record the title, then you have no proof of when that actually happened. Even my notary journal time in there is not going to help you. And that's what they went for was what was the mileage on the car at the time. And it had 13 miles on it from the time that I notarized it. So, from what she said, they only went like 13 miles, but they didn't have any proof that that was the mileage on the document.
I don't
Well, I
think
don't
there was a
know.
place for the odometer reading, and also she should have a bill of sale too, because it's personal property, right? But that's not my responsibility.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, she's giving it to her daughter, but still, there needs to be a bill of sale. Taxes are due, right?
That's really on the people. A lot of times people do these things on their own and then they find out later. And that can wind up being 2 appointments for you if they wind up needing a bill of sale later. It's not your place to you can't guide them. They bring you the document, you notarize it. My only tip is if it does have a place for the odometer, always have the seller put it in.
Okay.
And I know Arizona,
So
it has.
Yeah, I'm okay basically then.
Mhm.
I would say so. Yeah. Maybe Jamie has a clue. I don't know. Is Jamie from Pennsylvania?
Jamie is from California. She's actually one of our hardworking notaries over in California.
Well, let's see what Jamie needs help with. Go ahead,
Hey,
Jamie.
everybody. Hi. Hi. So I have a question. Somebody brought it up to me in a conversation, another notary that, and I am in California, so I don't know Pennsylvania. I've never even been to Pennsylvania. I'll put it on my list. But when you are filling out the certificates, are you putting the name that's on the documents or the name that's on the ID?
You're going to put the name that's on the signature line. So if it
Okay.
says Jamie Aria and the ID says Jamie L. Aria, and you've decided that Jamie L. is the same person as Jamie, then you've effectively identified that person. You're putting the name that they are signing with.
Okay. Okay. Somebody had said it needed to be the name that was on the identification. So awesome. Thank you.
That could be totally different. And if you're doing a loan signing, and when I say totally different, it could be somebody who has first initial, Scott Mickle, and their driver's license says Ronnie S. Mickle. Those names don't match. And but for your purposes, you're going, yes, I know that Ronnie uses his middle name or doesn't use his first name. He goes by his middle name, and that's the way the documents were drawn. So whatever convinces you that that person signing the document, you have to pretend like he's got a scribble dot dash signature. You don't know what that says, but what's printed under that signature line is what you're going to go by, not what the ID says, because it could be different. And you'll have a title company say, you know, R. Scott is not who you put in your certificate. You put Ronnie S. We need R. Scott. That's the way he signed.
Okay, that makes sense. Perfect sense. Thank you, Beth.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Miss Jamie. And then Miss Beth, we have a question on the job form that came in. It's also about acknowledgments and jurats, and I think this is a great one to address because, believe it or not, when I read this question, it's going to say, wow, like, how do you not know that, right? But here's the thing. None of us are better than anyone else. And this is something that I see even seasoned notaries do because someone will whisper and say, this is the way that it's done. So I want to get this question answered tonight as well. It says, When we have to attach an acknowledgement or a jurat, are we stapling this to the back of the original document? I'm going to let you chew on that one, Miss Beth, because I know that you were like, stop, listen,
Yes.
don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that. But what I'm going to start out with, though, is to tell you that some state regulations tell you if you have a loose certificate that you are attaching it. Some states say staple, and some states don't define the word attached. Okay, so sometimes when we say attached, we're putting additional information on a loose certificate that attaches it or identifies it as belonging to a particular document. But I'm going to tell you, if you're doing loan signings, regardless of what your state regulations tell you, you will never staple a document, and a loose certificate and acknowledgement to a document in a loan signing package. So make sure that additional information is on there, title of document, number of pages, date of document. What's David doing here? He's got a little stamp that says attached to and belonging. Yeah, exactly. Those 4 pieces of information just to make sure that it is connected back to that original document. But please don't use a staple. If you are conducting a loan signing, if you're doing general notary work, then you can follow your state regulations to a T, still making sure that you have that additional information on there. Does that help? I don't know if she's here or not.
I'm looking, but we have something along the same vein. It's the second part of another question. And while you're going with that, I'd love to get you to answer this part because it deals with certificates. It says on additional information at the bottom of an acknowledgement or jurat certificates, is the document date always the date of the certificate signed or date that is printed on the document that it's attached to? And I think that's a great question.
It's a really great question. And there's 2 different dates on there. If you have document date, which is a born on date, or a document creation date, that's the one you want to use. A lot of times there isn't a date for when the document was created. So you're going to use the date that you're completing the certificate. Either way, you're going to be safe because that signature and that certificate, a signature on the certificate date should be the same, particularly if you're doing loan signings. Sometimes, not always, in general notary work, those will be the same because we know someone can sign a document before they bring it to us, and we can notarize an acknowledgement. They come to us and acknowledge that they signed it last week. So default to the document creation date. If there isn't one, then use your certificate.
Thank you, Ms. Beth. We have a hand raised in the gallery from JC, and I'd love to get JC's question. By the way, guys, I want to make a reminder, especially since we've hit 114 viewers at the moment. This is our last GM for the next 2 weeks or so. Because we're going on spring break at Notary Stars, we have about 20 minutes or so left for the evening. So if you have a question, don't get left behind tonight. You can always email us, but you got the horse's mouth here right with you. So please get those hands raised if you have questions. JC, when you are ready.
Hi there.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I'm Juan, and I would like to ask a general question to get started as a part-time signing agent. I'm doing my best. I'm out of California, and while I have a little bit of experience, I'm having a hard time reaching out to signing agencies and obtain work without knocking doors or doing cold calls or anything like that. So I'm considering to obtain the marketing membership with you guys, but I was reading while the training seems great and it's much better than the competition, specifically LSS and Easy Notary class.
Wait, we don't mention other names when we're talking.
Well, I can guarantee that your program is really competitive, and that's the best I have seen.
Thank
Let's
you.
put it that way. Now, help me understand what exactly is direct leads, because I'm trying to get as much exposure as possible. I have emailed signing agencies, basically giving away my work for free for a signing, and I have not responded. I have not received any responses. And when I called signing agency, they didn't know what to do with me offering a free signing. Because they were not authorized to do that. So again, I'm really interested to hear more details about the direct leads you guys offer.
So, Juan, first of all, let me ask you one question, and I'm gonna turn this around, and I hope everybody listens to this. How long have you been in the industry? How long have you been starting or getting trying?
Since February of this year.
Okay, so we have March, April, we're in May. So you're about 2.5 months in. If you started mid-February, you're about 2 months in. You have definitely come to the right place. So there's a couple of different kinds of leads out there. We do offer direct leads from your listings, just like Notary, Rotary, and 123 Notary. You can get direct leads just like on your Google My Business. That's going to be more for general notary work, although we do try to work with title and escrow on the Notary Star side. That's one type of lead, the way you get your direct business. And we can definitely help you with that in the marketing course. I can teach you how to build a website, how to set up your Google My Business, how to set up your Yelp to get the general work coming in. Now, when it comes to working with title and escrow or attorneys, there's going to be two ways to do that. There's going to be signing services who've already gone out and got the business for you. And then there's going to be direct, walking in the door, letting them know what you know. I always recommend to notaries to do at least 100 to 200 signings for signing services and then turn around and go direct. That way, you know a little bit more about what you're doing. You're going to have the training at Notary Stars under your belt. You're going to have those 100 to 200, which go fast. Now, with you reaching out and saying, I'm going to give you a signing for free, I can understand why they don't know what to do with that. Because first of all, title and escrow, if they put it on the settlement statement that they're charging the signer for a mobile notary, they have to pay that fee. Okay. That's like a law. They can't put something on the settlement statement, charge the customer, and then have you do it for free. So you have to charge the customer, especially in title and escrow. Anybody that lets you do it for free, breaking the law. So you can't really work for free, and that may be why they don't know what to do, because we know that component as professional notaries. So we do have a hiring list that is like the 50 top pults, but we also have 1,800 signing services that we just went through this year. And when I was newer, there were no signing services, but as they grew, when I moved from California to Arizona, I wound up spending like a whole year going through every signing service and just signing up and making sure my name was in the pot. You're going to do that a lot in the beginning, but don't worry. At Notary Stars, we have the top 50 in the country that you really need to have your name in the hat of, and then you can go for everyone else. If you take the marketing course, we'll help you with the direct leads. And I even have a walk-in, it's a 4-part series on how to walk in the door, what time of day, what kind of emails to send, what they are thinking when you walk through the door. All of that's under the marketing level. But do me a favor. I always tell people, if you're brand new, make sure you've squeezed blood out of the turnip on the training level of Notary Stars, so you're not trying to master 2 subjects, because what I teach is a whole nother subject. So you really want to master, or at least get through module 6 and maybe do it twice before you cross over to marketing, because I don't want you paying more money for marketing advice when you still need that training on the loan documents, because what I teach you is how to get the business coming, and you want to make sure you're ready for that business. I don't like to put the cart before the horse, so to speak.
Okay, thank you. So you said level 6. What do you mean with that?
Module 6 is where you really when you feel like I comprehend everything from module 1 through 6, that's your significant signal to say, yes, I'm ready for the Notary Star Plus marketing level. I don't want to tell you when that happens. You will know when that happens.
Got it.
Everybody's different. You know, if I had a magic button, but I'll tell you, and I have to say this because I'm a slow learner. So sometimes people see our training and go, wow, that's a lot. Some people go, ooh, I got this. My sister's the, ooh, I got this. And I'm the, whoa, that's a lot. But I'll tell you, there's no shame in having to go through it twice and holding off until you're ready to comprehend it. Everybody gets to where they're going at a different pace. We're not in competition with anyone but ourselves. So make sure you know that level, and then I'll be there. I'm not going anywhere. I've always said I'm not leaving unless it's feet first out of the office. So I'll be there when you are ready.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Perfect. Okay, we have, Angela, Miss Riley in Oregon. Would you like to unmute and ask your question, Angela?
Hi. Yeah, I was wondering about mileage apps. I'm looking for a good app so that I can keep track of my mileage electronically without having to write it in. Is there one you would suggest?
I don't have a suggestion, but if anybody in the group knows of a mileage app that they can deploy on their phone, something that tracks mileage every time somebody gets in their car and starts to move, that does it automatically for them, that would be an ideal app. Now, we know Notary Gadget can, and some of your accounting softwares can, once you put in that order, you still have to manually enter your starting mileage and your ending mileage, but there are phone apps. Mile IQ is one that is in the chat. Mile IQ, you deploy that when you get in your car and it tracks you. It tells you your mileage from the time that your car starts moving and when you stop. TripLog's another one, says Eve. So there's a few suggestions for you there, Angela.
Thank you.
You betcha. Of course, you know, you guys, we can always do Google Maps as well, right? Start me here, end me here, but we know that's kind of idealistic because we got to stop at FedEx. Sometimes we have to do other things before we actually get to a signing. Sometimes there's a detour we have to take. So I prefer a live tracking app on my phone just to take care of all of those little contingencies. Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. You betcha. Mr. Jeremy Diaz, would you like to unmute and ask your question, Jeremy?
Yes. Hi, Beth. How are you? So, looking for some advice on this. I've done multiple seller packets in the last 2 weeks, and I found myself in a situation where when I get to the location, they're literally in shambles. Like they're moving, they have dogs all over the place. There's no tables to sit down. There's no AC on because they're moving. So, and it makes the signing uncomfortable. Like there's not, like even double checking the documents, it makes it impossible. So I literally, when I leave, I have to quadruple check everything, and I've made mistakes because the environment was uncomfortable. Even though I double checked everything or quadruple checked everything. So what would you recommend to deal with a situation like that?
Before Beth opens her mouth, I'm going to tell you, you came to the right person to answer this question because I know what she's going to say and I can't wait for her to say it because she will be able to set you on the right path. But I am saying this is the golden question for Beth.
Well, gosh, I hope I live up to that because I have two ways you can deal with this. Seller packages, first of all, I'm going to say this right up front. Seller packages are short, tiny packages. It shouldn't take you any time at all to get in there, get set up, and get out. The question is, how do you get set up? Jeremy, you got a car? You getting there on wheels? You got a trunk in those wheels. Guess what's in your trunk? Folding table, folding chairs. I'm telling you, you can pick up a 4-foot folding table at Costco for almost no money, maybe $40. A couple of folding chairs. That is your saving grace right there. If that's not possible for you, kitchen counters come in real handy. I have stood at many a kitchen counter. Sometimes it's faster to stand at the counter and get it done because it's a small package. What if it's somebody moving in? I've had people moving in before they've even signed their paperwork, or just things going on in the house. What about hoarders? Dude, you got to have a place to create a signing central station, and that's going to be a folding table and chairs in your car. Does that help?
Idea. Yeah, perfect. Great idea.
Miss
Thank
Beth,
you.
we actually had somebody write into Unlimited Ink today to let us know, and Jeremy, this goes along the same vein. If Duchess is here tonight, she let us know about all of her scanning equipment, and she actually said, I want you to know I'm prepared for sellers who are moving. And I have, a fold-out table, and it came from our training, the fold-out chairs, and all of those things. She's like, I feel so much more confident walking into these situations. I didn't actually know about the fold-out table until I met Beth. And, I'm telling you, that's why I was like, this is the golden ticket, because when I started incorporating I still learn things every day too, things that we can do. And it sounds kind of cheesy. Oh, I'm going to put a fold out table. How many times will I use that? It'll be the one time that it saves your day on a chaotic signing that you will know that it's worth it. And you will be like, I'm so glad I paid that $35 at Walmart for these fold out chairs and table.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it'll save you. There's going to be, the seller mover, the hoarder, maybe not, the horrible hoarder that you can't walk in the house, but they've got junk everywhere. Dude, I don't want to sit on that chair. Don't worry about cleaning off that table. I will just go out and get mine. No problem. So yeah, it'll save you. You bet.
Miss Beth, I kind of want to do speed questions for the last little bit. And I know sometimes I can kind of take the reins a little bit, but I want to make sure some of these get answered
Okay.
the fastest amount possible. So the next question that we have, this was from Nancy out of Florida, and it says, if I have a Ron seller and accidentally mark it as general notary work on the Ron platform, does it make a difference in the back end? Bill, I want you to speak on this one as well, but what I want to say is that some platforms allow you to say seller signing or a loan transaction, or if it's per notary stamp, you need to look, because they're not going to recharge you or anything, especially like Blue Notary. If you put it in, let's just say that you put it in as a loan transaction, they're going to charge you $25 flat. But if you put it, there's only one notary stamp, you're cheaper doing the one notary stamp. So you need to look at your documents before and then decide, am I going to put it in for the cheaper version for the bulk rate of a loan signing, or am I going to put it in for that one single document? Bill, how do you speak to that? Because you work with way more platforms than I do.
This is speed dating.
What's that?
This is speed dating, so.
Yes.
As far as indicating what it is, I mean, it kind of depends on the platform that you're on. Is that what you mean? Like if you've accidentally, are you talking about like you categorized it wrong?
Correctly, correct. So I think what Nancy's asking is, and I know the situation from firsthand, she marked the signing as a general notary work, but it was actually a seller signing. It doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
It doesn't affect how the RON comes out, but the price of it will.
Right, depending on the platform that you're on. I mean that like on the platforms that I use, I just pay a flat fee across the board for all of them, regardless of how many stamps and KBAs and things like that are on there. So for any of the ones I use, it doesn't really matter. But if it's a Blue Notary thing, which I'm not familiar with how that breaks out, but it shouldn't affect you as far as like indicating the types of stamps.
Okay.
That shouldn't have anything to do with it.
All right, perfect. Guys, I just want to let you know that we do answer remote online notarization questions every week here. So if you are a remote online notary, please make sure to bring your questions here as well. Bill is our instructor for, and he's one of the most successful remote online notaries I know. Haven't been out in the field since how long, Bill?
It was March of 2020, and I just was jokingly talking. I think I said it to you today. I was a little agitated because I just had to go buy my first ream of paper since 2020.
Yeah, he started complaining today in the Notary Stars meeting, in our Unlimited Ink and Notary Stars marketing meeting, that he had to go and buy paper today for the first time. And we were like, oh, shut up. Guys, I am going to drop a little commercial into the chat tonight. If you didn't see it go out on our YouTube channel, we would love for you to like this video and share it, especially if you're on Online Notaries Public. This is not a commercial for you. We are actually promoting, and if you haven't seen the new interface of Online Notaries Public, please, after the meeting, go to that link that I just posted in the chat. I'll post it in the replay as well. Go to that video, like it, share it, because we're now promoting a way for Title and Escrow to come in and hire you, and we're paying mad money for that to happen. And some of the notaries on this call tonight actually have jobs already from what we're doing with Online Notaries Public, that have been hired in full-time positions as Ron notaries with pretty good paying jobs or part-time jobs. So make sure and like and share that video, especially if you're a Ron notary, because we are turning Online Notaries Public into kind of the LinkedIn of the Ron world. Miss Beth and Miss Brenda, I see your hand, but I'm going to run through these questions really quick, as fast as possible, because I'm going to try to get as many in there. And I lost my notes. Give me a second. The next question, I lost my entire, there we go. Lost my entire, oh, I lost my entire notes. Miss Beth, can you see the next question while I find my notes?
Yeah, one from Christy says, how do we know that our signing is processed completely after it's mailed out? Is no news good news?
Miss
Short
Beth?
answer, yes. No news is good news, Christy. Don't worry about it. They will definitely communicate with you if there's a problem with your file. Some will even tell you it's good, go ahead and drop it. Some of them make you wait until it's QC'd before you can drop your file. But once it's mailed out, if you don't hear anything from them, just consider that good news and move on.
Thank you, Miss Beth. The next question is actually for you as well. I'm going to read it as is, and you guys know I hate reading from notes. I talk perfectly fine when I'm not reading, but I hate reading. So don't be like the kids in 8th grade and make fun of me. It says seller's package. Split signing between sellers and buyers. Seller is out of state from where the property is being sold. One jurat with no venue information is below all the signers' signature blocks, seller and buyers. As the first party signing, is it suggested that we attach a loose leaf certificate, or we use the jurat provided and write in the date and the seller's name? Miss Beth answered this for me, but might benefit the group if it was covered. So Miss Beth, would you like to take that?
Sure. We don't, let me just say, we don't normally consider a buyer seller as a split signing. They usually are signing their own sets of documents, and those things are collated. But nonetheless, if that's what you have, if I'm not saying it can't happen, it's just not common for a split signing to be a buyer seller. So if you're the first notary and you have a jurat or an acknowledgement already attached to a document, part of that document body, below the signatures for both your signers, the seller, and the buyer's signature, you're going to use that. As the first notary, always use the certificate that's on there. All you need to do is make sure that you're only adding the name, or that certificate only has the name of the signer that appeared in front of you. You can't notarize for the other signers. They're not there. They're not part of your process. Their name should not be in that certificate. Oftentimes those certificates are pre-filled, so watch for that information. If that byline is wrong, correct it, but use that certificate. The second notary, if it is a true split, The second notary is going to add a loose certificate. Okay?
Thank you, Miss Beth. We have a question from the gallery from Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda, if you would like to ask your question.
If it's all right, I want to ask Bill a question or two.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill is ready for your questions.
Okay, the first question is, when you're swearing in your people on a RON, is the witness required to raise their hand and swear also?
If the witness is, are they stating under oath that that they've witnessed the documents? Like, does it say sworn in there in the certificate?
If that's part of the certificate, is the witness also swearing?
Yeah, if the witness is being asked to, if you have to notarize the witness, then yes. If it says that the witness swore and you have to notarize the witness, then yes, you swear them in. If they're just a witness, just a body that's there that's signing, then no.
Okay. And the second question is, because the signers have to acknowledge that the RON is being recorded, does the witness have to also acknowledge that the RON is being recorded verbally?
Well, when you do the way I do it and the way I've seen it done on like other platforms is you are indicating at the very beginning, hi, I'm Brenda, I'm your remote notary. Before we get started, I do need to let you know the session will be audio video recorded. Is that going to be okay? The witnesses should be there at that point, so they would also answer that question. So
Okay.
you're kind of covering that before you get anything else going on. It's the very first thing that you put out there is you introduce yourself and then you say, this is going to be recorded. Is that good for everybody?
Okay.
And then you go in, you check in your signers and you also check in your witnesses, but just in a different manner. You'll ask them to state their name. Are they over the age of 18? Do they have a beneficial interest in the transaction? After they witnessed the signature, did you witness the signer sign the documents? You do have questions that you ask them as well. And if they weren't in at the beginning, when you asked them at the beginning about the recording, then I would ask before they sign.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All righty. We are probably going to run a little bit over, Mr. Mickle, because we are right at a minute till.
I know I'm the one who sent you the begging message to please go over. Miss Beth, I know that Carol has her hand raised because she's actually on the sheet, so we definitely want to address that tonight. But we do have a guest in the house, as you notified me. Miss Delora, we would love to have you come up. Let me give you permission. Guys, we have some really great questions after Delora. Really quick, she's only going to take a moment here to come in. Let's see, make co-host. Miss Delora, why don't you come in and I'll go ahead and pin you to the screen as well.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make it quick since you guys are running a little bit late, but my name's Delora and I'm with Insurance with Delora. And I am just here to help you answer any health insurance questions whatsoever. I can help you in whatever state you're in, whatever your situation is. Primarily, I work with self-employed people, but if you're not quite ready to jump to that aspect yet, that's fine too. So whatever you guys need, I'm here to help.
Thank you, Miss Delora, and I just want to let you guys know, as a business owner, if you are not covered by a spouse, it is really important that you look into it. Take it from me, 21-year-old Ronnie Lee would tell you that it's not fun running up a medical bill of $500,000 on accident and then having a judge look at you in bankruptcy court saying that's so sad. At 20, that was great. I was 2 days off my father's insurance, didn't see it coming, thought I was going to live forever. At 43, it would be devastating. So that's why we have somebody like Delora who can help you with health insurance, even when it's not open enrollment period. And she is listed under your resources section, and she's also going to put her information into the chat. Thank you, Miss Delora, for stopping in. Sorry to rush you, but we got so many questions and we're about to go on spring break.
Yep, have a great time.
Thank you.
Everybody's asking for Delora's number in the chat. She just put that in there. You can also reach her on her website. Okay, guys? All right. Mr. Mickle, one of the questions on here is a really long question that's been highlighted in green. It says go, right? Because it's green. It's
Yep.
probably a question that's going to be for both you and Bill to kind of chime in on. Let me read it the way it's posted, and you guys can answer as you see fit. This says, I'm a notary who's just getting back to using my stamp after becoming wheelchair bound. Currently, I'm taking general notary assignments, and I take very few mobile notary requests due to my dependence on someone else driving me to assignments. That's just until I'm able to purchase my ADA-approved vehicle and drive myself. What would be the best markets to target using my notary stamp or to add to my notary business that I could benefit from the most financially? My availability is very flexible, including after hours, when most notary businesses are closed. So far, I've come up with apostille, fingerprinting, I-9, and becoming affiliated with idiomaticaffiliates.com, whose services I will offer to my clients. I want to go for my loan signing commission. That's a faux pas, but I'm not sure how well this will work out with Ron in the state of Maryland. I welcome your input, suggestions, constructive critiques, please. Just getting back into action. What do you think, Mr. Mickle?
Well, I'm going to kick it off, and then I'm going to let Bill finish up with the remote online notarization. And I know what I want him to focus on is really that you are not bound to the loan signing agent industry. And Ron, there's so much work that you could be doing. This is a question of how much revenue do you need to generate? Okay. Idiomatic affiliates, we're going to be having them come in pretty regularly, like Delora, to give you marketing tips. And I'm also teaching this in my marketing class. They're already mailing out commissions. So there's a lot of things that you can do. But one of the things that I want to tell you guys is if you are worried, if you're out there and you're worried about being disabled or not able to drive around, let me tell you my story. If you want to know where this all came from, when I first became a notary, I was ran over by a car by a drunk driver who literally put me on the ground for 8 months, and then I had to have surgery, and it was another 8-month recovery after that. I had no choice but to start a signing service because I could not walk. And there have been moments in time, and you guys have heard me say this before, where I've hired people to drive me around to my appointments because I could not physically drive a car. I got like a college student that lived across the street for like 2 weeks one time. It was so bad to drive me around after a re-injury of my back. So I am no stranger to any kind of physical ailments. Anybody that wants to make it, all of the things that you listed are really great. To go further into it, truly, there's no way to answer this question in the time that we have left. Definitely in my marketing class, you can find out many ways to use those affiliate links, not just for idiomatic, but for healthcare services that also have a dotted line to notary work. A lot of things that have a dotted line. If you're not able to work 24/7, you can flip your pages to, do Notarize or Blue Notary and get commissions off of those. There's so much that you can do. And you can also partner with a company like Unlimited Ink that will accept your orders and get a commission off of when you can't work. There's a million things that you can do. And I never want somebody that's out there to say that they're disabled or not able to do at a full capacity that can't make it, because I just realized something. 2 of the people that I referred off of Online Notaries Public that are now working for one of the Ron companies at a pretty good rate, and I don't mean $5 a signing. I mean, they're getting an hourly rate to be available for shifts. 2 of the people that I referred had physical ailments that keep them from being in the field. And I just realized that there's a whole workforce when it comes to Ron available that can't be out in the field anymore. And I think that that's going to be a new realm. And Bill, I'd love for you to talk about how the world is really open. You don't have to drive for Ron. at all, and it's not just title and escrow.
Right. That's probably the best thing that you have. The great thing that you have going for you is in Maryland, and especially in Maryland, where you can make $30 for a notarization, for a Ron notarization. Most of the states are 25. Some of the states are less than that. So you definitely have that going for you. So you can even carve out your own niche where you don't even get in or don't even dabble in the loan signing aspect of it, because there's so much other stuff, general, with attorneys and healthcare and all these other areas that you can get into. It's still wide open and you are not bound by your state's borders in most cases. There's certain documents, obviously, that you can't do in different places. But in a lot of the general notary work stuff, you're able to expand outward. So let's say you're good with working with contractors and you like that, and you've worked all the ones in Maryland. Well, there's a heck of a lot of contractors in Arizona and Florida and Texas and Nevada and these states that have all this building. Expand outward from there. And I don't think that you're hindered at all by that. I think Ron's a perfect fit for what you're going through. So that would be my suggestion.
Yep, I totally agree. A perfect fit. Your mobility is less available, and Ron can keep you at home and you can do everything and more. And it's not just loan signing.
And you can do them quicker. You don't have driving time between appointments. So that's another selling point.
So Carol Kavina has her hand up, but she also sent in a question. So Carol, what I'd like to do is read your question first, and then if you had another question on top of that, you can ask that with this. And I probably think, Mr. Ronnie, this one's for you. This says, please address the following this week. Google My Business was recently taken down, and I needed verification as I am a Ron notary and are gearing more towards this path. Google sent me a notice stating listings on Google My Business can only be created for businesses that either have a physical location that customers can visit or that travel to visit customers where they are. That means if you run an e-commerce business that doesn't have a storefront, or if you provide services to clients exclusively online, you aren't eligible to create a Google My Business profile. I handled it by replying with my appeal letter. FYI, only 2 attachments in support of the appeal are allowed. I used one for the appeal letter and the other was a compilation scan of my commission, LLC, insurance, utility bill, and Ron letter from Arizona Secretary of State. Ronnie, can you talk about what should be in the appeal letter?
I can, but first I want to get an update on this from Miss Carol, because it needs to be a part of the entire conversation. Miss Carol, can you let us know what happened?
Yeah, first I got the email that says your business profile has been suspended. So I did all that, all the stuff that that you suggested and all this blah 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 blah. Then I got the letter from them saying that your my notary gal, your profile has been approved. But there are two things. The frustrating part about them telling you that is they don't tell you what you've done, so you just have to go through all their profile, their list of things that you might have done, and hope that's it when you submit the appeal, which I figured out was probably that because I have my online account, but I also have in the fine print that I still do mobile notary, so they agreed to, I think, give me back my account. But another thing, which I haven't told you about, Ronnie, is that now I can't even find my account. I think they've completely taken it down, because another one of the things that is in their list of things that you can't do for Google My Business is to change your account until your suspension has been completed. Well, I worked on the account, and I also have something, I also have, callmeron.com, which people can go to that, they remember that, and it takes me to my website. I think they didn't like that, so now I completely don't even have a Google My Business account. So they have so many details that you don't know about. In any event, the appeal worked, and they said, "Yay, you're back on," but then now it's gone. That's my problem.
Okay. And Miss Carol, I'm actually scrolling through right now. Was I ever a manager on your account?
No.
Okay. So I can only attest for the ones that I've had to appeal. And this was actually new for me. And I'm glad that you reached out. So I'm going to talk about what happens before, and let's talk about how to get it back after the fact. Okay. So this was actually brand new. I've never seen this before, but the appeal worked, right? Then something happened after. So let's talk about it. A lot of the raw notaries are now switching their profiles to remote online notary, and they're saying that you can't have, they don't want like something like what is it, Etsy stores on Google My Business. That's not, it's an e-commerce, and they're looking at Ron's as they're possibly e-commerce. You're selling something like that. You're not doing that. You are a commissioned notary that can service the entire country. Probably what might have flagged this, and I'm going to ask you, Miss Carol, did you mark yourself outside of the state of Arizona?
No, I specifically said that I am in, I made it clear that I am in the state of Arizona, can only do business in the state of Arizona, but then I showed him my commission that says I am a raw notary, and that has allowed, my
I mean, in your
secretary,
service area, in your service area, did you put anything outside of Arizona?
I don't know how to do that, so all I said was Arizona because they want you to be in person contact with people. So in service contact, yes, I put, Surprise, Arizona.
Okay. So if you put a large service area like a Ron could or should do, that might be a flag to them. Like, how does one person or one small business service this large area? So if you're a Ron notary and they flag you, you need to provide them your commission. Okay. And if you're one of my marketing students, I have a video on it. And actually, the video is free on YouTube, on our YouTube channel for all students. You need to provide them your commission, let them know that you're commissioned by the state in order to service people, and that now we are able to do our jobs online and we can service anybody from any state that's out there. You have to write a well-written letter, which Carol did. I might take your letter, Miss Carol, and redact it and put it up for the students in the marketing course, or attach it to the video that we have out for free. To show how she wrote this and what you only get 2 attachments. So you have to prove that you're in business. So first she did her appeal letter, but that was one attachment. And the other attachment was proof of business, correct? Your commission.
Yes, and yeah, it's showing that I'm in Arizona. They like to see that you're actually in Arizona. That you have a business address in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. And so for the flag after, and this is definitely a follow-up, I would need to be able to do a screen share with you, and be able to say, can you share your screen and show me where you would normally log in? And let's see if you still see the Google My Business on that account. And if you do, they haven't deleted it. They just might not be showing it. And I hope it's okay for DM from Florida. And you probably know who I'm talking about. You just leaned in. So recently you had an issue with Google and they took it down, but then they brought it back, right? Okay. So David from Florida, he had an issue where someone was scamming him and they took it down because he was contesting things. And it was just a delay in the time, or we hope it was a delay. We don't want to talk bad about the powers that be on the internet because sometimes they might take us down, or at least that's what David and I kind of believe. But there was a delay in getting that listing back up. So how long ago did this happen, Miss Carol, where it's gone completely?
This since Friday. Today's what, Monday? So yeah, I mean, I got the letters on Thursday. On Friday, I can't find my account, and now before. And the weird thing is, it would go to callmeron.com, which I don't even have a thing. I just have a website that I opened up. But chat and everybody else has said, that's really cool. Everybody is going to remember that. So I just put that out there, and now they have taken that as my business name. I never created a Google My Business with that. It deleted my Notary Gal and put in
well, I can tell you right now, I am looking at my Notary Gal on Google. So they have not taken down your listing. You might just not be able to find.
My profile. I know the business is well, yeah, but I mean my Google profile,
I can see your Google My Business. I Googled your business name and you are definitely coming up and it is there.
yeah.
And it
But
links
yeah, I
over to
misspoke. I
your,
didn't mean my business, but my Google profile. If I go into my Google profile, it's not there. It goes to something else, but it says it's asking me if I want to create a business, a Google My Business profile. Anyways, we can talk about that later. We got other things to go on here, but
Yep, I'll work with you on that. I'm certain that it may just be a delay. They might have, there might be a delay in the suspension because we saw that with David as well.
okay.
So I'm glad that you brought this up because it's definitely worth talking about. But I can see that your Calendly, your phone number, your website, your click to call, your review is still there. I can see all of that on when I type in your business name. So you are still there. It just may be that because of that suspension, you may not have access to the controls to update your business now, and it might be a delay. And I see David shaking his head right now, saying that that was similar too.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe if it said 24 hours, but it's been 3 or 4 days, so maybe they took the weekend off. I don't know. In any event, but it's just weird because it doesn't even what I was able to go to earlier has now taken me to that strange, not strange name that doesn't even my business, which is one I'm using, but it doesn't matter. I'm taking everybody's time for that. Whatever. That's it. Thank you for addressing that. That's
No problem. I'm glad we got to address it. Guys, we only had about 2 questions that we weren't able to get to tonight. We're 18 minutes over. We tried to get as many as we could because we're going on spring break. If you have a question and it was not answered, please make sure to email it in. We have got to get going because the people on the East Coast are going to die if they don't get some sleep. And I'm on the East Coast, so I'm with them. I'm going to ask if you would please turn on your cameras tonight and let's give our signature wave to everybody that's still with us and give our signature wave to those future notaries that are going to join us. Give your signature wave to yourself if you're going to come back and watch this replay. Okay. And I'm going to say it the way I say it. If you are not naked and you are not stuffing your face with a sandwich right now, please turn on your cameras and let's give our wave. And Miss Beth, how do we really say it here at Notary Stars on the professional level?
Guys, I just want to remind everybody that we are all in the same storm. We're not all in the same boat. Some of us have yachts, some have canoes, some of us are just dog paddling. So please be kind, reach back, grab the hand of that notary next to you or behind you, and bring them along with you on your journey. Show them the way. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you, and thank you for helping us get nominated as an influencer of this year. So thank you guys. We really appreciate it. It will not be in vain. We will bring more notaries into wonderful training. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.